Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to give you my hot take on the Kansas City Current for the 2026 NWSL season. Okay, the Kansas City Current might still be one of the best teams in 2026. Well, they should be one of the best teams in 2026, but they may not be quite as automatic as people think. Okay, and yes, the talent is there. The ceiling is still very high, and they should contend again. Okay, but this is not the same team rolling into 2026 unchanged from 2025. There's real turnover here. Okay, real turnover, and that raises some real questions too. Okay, let's start with the coaching change. In January, they hired Chris Armas to come in. So Kansas City appointed Armas as coach somewhere at the very beginning, first week of January, I believe. So one of the league's top teams is heading into the league, or the season rather, with a new voice on the sideline. And that matters a lot. It definitely matters a lot. So, because this is not a rebuild, okay, this is a contender that's really trying to stay contending, as they say. So they won the Shield, but they were disappointed that they went off in the playoffs last year. And so let's get to the biggest addition, though, first. Croy Bethune, okay, coming from the Washington Spirit. That's a statement move, okay? It's not a depth move. That is not a maybe move. That is a statement move, okay? Because Bethune joined Kansas City, and obviously in 2024, she was Rookie of the Year or Midfielder of the Year, or both, actually, and she gives the Current another creative voice in that midfield. And if you are looking for why KC should stay terrifying, look no further than that addition. And, of course, they still have stars. They still have match winners, Ali Setnor, per se, in example. And now they add another player who can decide games for them. But there's also, this is really where the story can get interesting. Kansas City also lost some real talent. Claire Hutton is gone. Bia is gone. Nichelle Prince is also gone. And Hutton especially jumps out at me because I was thinking if she's still there and you've got Bethune on the field in front of her, that could be something, because that's a young midfielder with huge upside, huge future in front of her. And they moved her to Bay FC in February. So yes, Bethune coming in is exciting, but Kansas City did not just add, they also gave things up. And so let's talk maternity status too, because I think they still have one player on maternity leave, and that's DiBernardo. She's still gone for a big chunk of the season, but I think she's the only one on maternity leave at the moment. So it's not a huge story. She was already there, but that's another player that's not available to you. Okay, and that's the major issue here, availability. Because the preseason also listed several people on season-ending injuries, and they are big. Okay, let's start with, I think Cook is out for the season. Gagne is out for the season. Chawinga is out for the season, and my personal favorite player on Kansas City, Michelle Cooper, is on season-ending injury status still, and that is huge because those absences affect. They take a speed hit with those players out, and that's why I say the Current may be a little less of a contender than people think, because these losses or these absences are not good. Those players are very, very talented. Okay. They won the 2025 Shield. They set records when they were doing it, and the roster still has major quality. But now you're asking a new coach to step in, missing some key additions, and try to be that new voice. And I'm sure moves will be made, okay? But you're replacing important players, good Lord. I don't really understand the rules in NWSL, and I'm not sure they do either about player acquisitions, because it seems the window has extensions beyond, extensions. But I'm sure they're also running up against some salary cap issues, so that could be a problem. So, anyway, where do I think KC is in 2026? I still think they are a contender. Absolutely. Okay? I still think they can challenge for the Shield. I still think they can win the playoff title. But I do not think it's as simple as just saying, okay, let's go out and play our same way, same Kansas City, without any real questions asked, because I think the coaching change is a big factor. I found that one very interesting. And I think Armas will do a great job. Funny segue in that is, in 2024 Football Manager, I always used to try and, if certain conditions were right in the game and Chris Armas got fired from an MLS job. A lot of times, if you're coaching a European team that was like in England trying to reach up, you could get him to sign with you as assistant coach, and he was one loyal coach. And I have to say, I have a friend of mine I would always hire in game, and he was always disloyal to me, and we used to laugh about it. I'm not going to name him here, but he appears in Football Manager as manager, and he was disloyal as hell. But Armas was always loyal, and I wish him the best because he was always one of my favorite midfielders for the national team. Okay, but let's get back to that. So coaching change, okay, but the team is not the same. Yes, you've added Bethune, so they need Bethune to click as quick as possible, and to really hook up with Sentinel as well. And Armas needs to settle in, get his fingers into the pie mix there, and try to get things done. And if he settles in quickly, though, and the health picture gets better, then this team can absolutely crush it like they were doing last year. Okay, but if the transition gets bumpy and the absences linger, and they may still be excellent, but they're not going to be as dominant. And I don't know if that's good or bad for the league, because it was kind of fun watching them run away with stuff. Okay, so my final take is this. Kansas City is still one of the best teams in the league on paper. They have people missing that they should get back over the year, but they need to prove that they had the depth to stay in the levels that they want to keep staying at. Okay, very high level, very high ceiling for this team still, but these losses make it fascinating to watch this team. And I'm sorry for rambling there at the end of that, but I was just thinking about, wow, with Cooper and them it's a problem. They're going to have to make some additions probably just to fill some roster spots. So anyway, that's my take on KC. Still a very good team, still going to be in contention, but there's some real questions there. And I'm sure the sooner they get injuries back and maybe pick up one or two players for some depth, we're going to see them in the top 3 minimum. Okay? Okay. That's the end of that video. But if you made it this far, I have something personal to talk about. My family's going through hell still with my wife's cancer over the last year and a half. It's been one terrible fight, and it has wrecked our lives. We're almost through it. I almost have a new coaching job, but we're not there yet. You can help with a couple ways that are in links down below, but we have these leftover U.S. exclusive soccer hats that are all black with a nice little sheen for the crest. There was 1,500 made for 2025, and that's probably all that's ever going to get made, okay, because I'm not sure the manufacturer is going to be around and stuff for that long. But there's a link below, and whatever you buy helps our family, okay? Thank you very much for stopping by. We'll see you in the next video, which I think is Gotham, but it might be Orlando. Have a good day. Bye-bye.